Hi, I'm Devin, and this is Crash Course Bootleg Commerce Edition. Today, we talk about free college. Alright, free college. Why is it important? First, we'll start with why is it expensive. Welcome to the phone zone.
So free college is a very controversial issue. The average American is $37,000 in debt because of student loans. And from that, you can buy a whole chicken nugget mansion. Hey, is that relatable to him? So first of all, we're going to go over the history of college, and then we're going to go over pros and cons in the clone zone, and then we're going to talk about alternative solutions.
So before we talk about the pros and cons about free college, we're first going to jump into the timeline of free college. So going to 1944, where it all started, the GI Bill was signed into law, giving veterans money to attend school. Then in 1947, 49% of college students were veterans. And this is a pivotal moment in education, yet it was still difficult for women and colored students to attend college.
Towards the 1960s, education became much more important when the Soviet Union first launched Sputnik, which was their satellite. After this, Americans felt that they were really falling behind in education and decided to give it a huge emphasis. They gave it a much larger budget. In addition, the civil rights movement helped push women and minorities towards college. And this is the first time that college became really important.
In 1970s, taxpayers' revolt happened and college tuition began to shift from taxpayers to students. Also in 1983, U.S. News and World Reports published the first college ranking. Rankings relied on name recognition, traditional quality, and most of all, wealth. When this came out, colleges went crazy fighting to be the top colleges. Today, U.S. report for colleges still rank king, and colleges keep a close eye on it. In 1988 to 2018, tuitions and fees of private and public colleges doubled. In 2017, most state schools got more money from the tuition than they did from the government funding.
Thanks, Clone Zone. Now we'll talk about why a lot of people are pro free college and why people are con free college.
Different countries have free colleges, such as European countries. Finland, France, Germany, all of them have free college, and their education compared to the US is much better. US only ranks 14 compared to them. They're all within the top 10. Many Asian countries have much cheaper college tuition compared to the US, which is 10K. Japan only needs to pay 6.5. And because of that, there's a lot more educated people, and that leads to a more educated workforce.
Well, another pro of having free college is that degrees will no longer be more of an obstacle for students, which people would get higher paying jobs, and through years, generations of low-income families, they would have to give up school because they could not pay for it. So that would give an opportunity to the students to gain more of an education to the job that they want to pursue.
The con about the free college solution is the fact that the less recognized but just as devastatingly widespread is the unaddressed shadow crisis of non-tuition costs like housing, food, books, and transportation. And these are necessities which, while alone isn't that much, when they pile up, it's almost as bad as college tuition. Another thing that Business Insider comments on is the fact that while many students can, Business Insider also talks about how while Sanders and Clinton's plan does in some ways help many students can afford to pay a considerable amount toward their higher education. So thus, free college would be a wasteful and ultimately inefficient. Another thing that Business Insider talks about is how, while Sanders talks a lot about the European countries offering free college tuition, those free college tuitions aren't exactly coming with no cost, as a lot of the free college comes from the taxpayers.
One of the things about free college is that it devalues education. Because of how college being free, it becomes less a priority in people's lives. And because it is, people start being complacent with their studies and could lower graduation rates.
One example of how free college doesn't work is in California during the recession. Usually, California has one of the cheapest college tuitions, but during the 2008 recession, many people tried to enroll, but because of the recession, there was not enough. The budget wasn't high enough, causing them to turn away 600,000 students. Because of this cheaper college, many people have high expectations, but they were all turned down because of this. Republicans plan to tackle this problem by trying to force students to get loans from private banks. This way there's more competition, driving tuition interest down and lowering the amount that students owe.
Another thing, instead of having government funding, we could also have scholarships.
Well, you know, the Pilgrims came to the U.S. through the Mayflower. How do you think the college students got to college? What scholarships? How was that, Tim? No?